For the second weekend in a row, the box office absolutely sucked. Performance was down across the board, except for, obviously the one film that did okay. And it did okay and was a beneficiary of an older, more successful franchise, which I can say that Disney is going to absolutely drive into the ground, just like what Iger does with everything. Once they've owned things for about 10 years, they start to kill it off, and everything that you like about it will die, just like the box office. Let's take a look at Predator Badlands, the only winner in any of this for at least the short term, and look at the long term because it's quite frightening. Come with me. Here we go. Now, before we get started, quick reminder, I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. Only you can help with that. And you can do it in 3 ways. Number 1, double check you're still subscribed. If not, hit the subscribe button. And third, turn on all notifications. And if you want to go for the bonus round, share the stream and share the video out there, because guess what? It'll make more people see the things you enjoy, and it'll get me doing more and more content. But if you take a look at a review from KSL, the truth is, well, there to read. Predator Badlands is an entertaining quote-unquote Predator movie that hasn't lived up to the original. Yeah, it certainly didn't live up to even The Predator, which I think almost everybody can agree is the worst one. Regardless, while trying to present itself as a buddy cop kind of film, it was more romantic and cutesy than any actual Predator fan would appreciate. This is like trying to make, one of the aliens look, hunky and sexualize them, which, believe it or not, they've tried to do before, even in the television product they recently released. But this isn't that. This is a unrecognizable Predator film with something that looks like a Predator. Maybe it's the 20% different idea so that somebody can take credit for it, like Trachtenberg, who I think everybody gives too much credit to for trying to make something interesting for Hulu, which is that Prey thing that I think most people kind of avoided, which I'm going to tell you honestly, after I was exposed to it, I wish I hadn't watched it. And same thing for this film. But that's not really the point. We need to take a look at what else has been going on, because I think we can all agree the box office performance across the board has been very poor. And whenever you don't make $100 million in the box office weekend, which, believe it or not, they were far short of again this weekend, you have to look at the theaters and wonder just how much more can they stand, because the cost of displaying one of these films is kind of spendy. The number of employees that have to work to make a film work, well, they're kind of spendy too, and they're not getting cheaper because they have foreign competition, and that's a different conversation, probably something we'll talk about on Tuesday or Thursday on Thank You for Your Attention to This Matter. Regardless, let's be very clear. Everybody in Hollywood is trying to bury it, including Deadline. Predator Badlands opening to franchise record with $40 million, an A- cinema score, which I'm going to tell you isn't all that impressive anymore. And it's the best ever for the series, at least as far as that goes. And it's the best financial performance, which isn't here in the headline, which I'm surprised because Anthony is such a shill for Disney. But Variety, who usually has a more reasonable, nuanced take, does the reasonable, nuanced thing. They presented on Friday what the film actually was going to do. $15.6 million opening day, which included a Wednesday and Thursday previews number. That's right, not just one, but 2 previews. In other words, it really only did $10 million on the Friday, and it did $5 million and a little change in the Wednesday, Thursday showings. So this really did have the longest Friday we've had in a while, unless it's a holiday weekend. Regardless, let's give it to them and suggest that maybe, just maybe, this is why this got to the $40 million performance here in the United States and $40 million globally, which doesn't bode well for its future, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Hollywood Reporter was, very loquacious. They were able to write quite a few words about the box office badass Predator Badlands kicking off November with record 40 million US opening, 80 million globally. And by the way, that record is just for the Predator franchise itself. And while that is all true, they haven't written anything that's not true, they seem to puff this up with a lot of bravado that I don't think it deserves. I mean, if you take a look at the fact that this is a Disney property now because of the Fox deal, this might not deserve this wonderful frontline. Whew. In fact, I don't think it does at all. According to The Hollywood Reporter here, the 20th Century Disney release has glowing reviews and equally growing audience reaction, which I don't think is actually true. You can definitely, selectively pick things that you think are making this film look good. At the same time, I can tell you the people I've talked to that are Predator fans aren't super thrilled about this. And again, it is kind of the feminization of this, like I reported in a previous video or even 6 Minute Daily. This is the feminist version of the Predator. And the only person that I know that really likes this is Shad, if you've seen his review. But let me point out that he likes Twilight, which is a chick property. Are they really going to do it again and turn Predator into a chick property? It looks like it. And in doing so, I think Trachtenberg has exposed himself to, all of the things that Kathleen Kennedy failed with, all the things that Feige has failed with, and maybe he's trying to fail this particular Alien as well. Speaking of Alien, that's going to be a mixed bag coming up based on the TV program we're just forced to see. But I want to look at the numbers because that's what this video every Monday is. It's a look at the box office numbers, and the performance of all of the films, which wasn't good, as I've already said. Here from the numbers, you can see Predator Badlands getting that $40 million domestic estimate, which will probably shift a little bit over the course of Monday, and we'll get an actual solid figure. But globally, it got $80 million. And for a $105 million budgeted film, at least that's the published budget, not the actual spend, which we'll find out much later, it's pretty okay. It's never going to make money. This thing probably won't go much over 300 million globally in its performance at the box office, but that's about as good as you could hope for. And I don't think Disney is going to set its watch by Predator or Alien anytime soon. Looking out further, we see a third weekend performance for Regretting You, which a lot of outlets are trying to pump up and prop up because overall it has done over $38 million. Well, that's great, except you spent way more money on it than that. And this weekend's $7 million performance is second place, which means everything else after this is going to be far worse. Black Phone 2 hung in there despite a small drop once again in its performance at $5.3 million. But overall, $70 million. That's why horror movies, not only do they hang in there, but that's why they get made by studios that are trying to build up their reserves. You have Sarah's Oil, which is a new product out there for $4.4 million. That's not exactly something to sing about. And Nuremberg, another new film out there that's in the same position. You really can't impress people with $4 million. Although, I will say, 1,800 theaters, it's not terrible. It's just not good. We have Begonia, a little farther down the list here, underneath Chainsaw Man, which, believe it or not, I'm impressed with. You have a $38 million win here coming out of Sony Crunchyroll. Congratulations. But Begonia was the piece of garbage we all knew it would be at a $3.5 million earnings. Look, $12 million overall, that's more than I thought it would make, but it cost way more money than that. And I'm thinking that Emma Stone's career may be over. I don't know about the rest of you. Finally, Die My Love finishes at $2.8 million in its premiere weekend, and that's not going to go anywhere fast. In just under 2,000 theaters, I think this is another one that's pretty much done, and it certainly isn't going to make its money back. Tron Aries is the failure. You knew it would be. It's another Disney disaster, another 41% fall, and $1.8 million. At $71 million domestic in total earnings, this thing is the flop I told you it would be, and it will lose maybe even $200 million at the end of the day. Finally, Christie. And that film, of course, has Sydney Sweeney in it. It opened to a not exactly huge $1.3 million. And I think this is Black Bear's first entry into the marketplace, so it's not bad. This is definitely a film that could get Sydney Sweeney an Oscar. But beyond that, I don't think it's going to be terribly profitable. And as we descend through the also ran films, we have to acknowledge that one of those was Back to the Future, not doing all that great. And of course, One Battle After Another, which is the love letter to anti-FA and to all America haters out there. Well, it's so disappointing that they're entering into the comedy category for the Golden Globes, which says a lot more about the film than, well, it does about Leonardo DiCaprio, because he is not funny. And at the end of the day, the thing that we should all care about is what, well, these numbers represent. Not very much. And this is the thing that scares me. If you take a look at the bottom here, 30 films were on display this weekend in theaters across this country, some of them wide release, some of them not. But in total, we only made $81 million in the box office. Any weekend that's under $100 million right now is devastating for theater owners. It means that they may not have broken even for the weekend and can ill afford more weekends like this. I'm actually kind of terrified. Now, despite Predator Badlands' marginal performance, everything else has been disappointing. And the fact that things aren't carrying forward earnings going through multiple weekends of release should be a warning sign as to just how dead Hollywood is. Hollywood is not giving us the best and the brightest, or even their best efforts at tent poles and mini tent poles. We've been getting a lot of slop and garbage and a lot of politically driven narratives that the audience has turned off to. Right now, I have suggested to many people that I consider experts that the public doesn't trust studios anymore, especially Disney. And I think going forward, that's going to be Hollywood's biggest challenge. And unfortunately, the only way to fix it is for Hollywood to acknowledge all of their terrible things that they've created and the reasons they were terrible in the first place and fix it. But I don't think they can fix it. I don't think that they can change. I don't think they can give you good stories. I don't think they can give you creative ways to tell them. And I don't think that they can give you movie stars anymore because there aren't any. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the last weekend's performance and how Hollywood is dead. But what are yours? Let me know what you think about this last weekend's performance overall for the box office and for Predator's Badlands. And let me know if you think that was even worth showing. And let me know if you think it was better than The Predator, which was the worst in the series. If you have any other thoughts, let me know those as well in the comments section down below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not in a theater, unfortunately.